Good morning. My name is Anand Bhadouria. I'm a chief cloud technologist working from HP. So this is another session from HP. We just had one session a few minutes back. I'm based in Boston and been in the industry over 24 years. I'm with HP 1.5 years, and before that I was with Rackspace, working with OpenStack quite a long time, maybe 6-7 years. So what I'm going to talk in next couple of minutes, I will talk briefly about what is container and what is the difference between virtual machine and containers. Most people are here, they are already very well aware the difference between containers and virtual machines. So I will not spend much time. The takeaway from this session will be mainly what is happening in the enterprise, how enterprise are reacting to containers, what is the adoptions there, what are their challenges, and what they want to see in a container in a future, in a couple of months. So my role is a client-facing role. I meet enterprise customer regular basis. I interact with them, and container is a very, very hot topic between all the clients. They always want to hear more about that. And if I ask what are their top 3 priorities, the number 1 or 2 definitely will be a container. And I will also talk a little bit about Magnum project. My friend from Rackspace, Adrian, he is a PTL, and there was a good session yesterday. I will touch that. And if time permit, I will talk about Magnum Architecture, and I will also share with you what HP is doing in container. So as you know, container are isolated portable device. It is a very helpful for developers. Developers can use container and they can move application. It's a very portable. You don't have to worry about infrastructure, VMs, and others. So it is getting lots of momentum, and I think once Kubernetes joined OpenStack, and now it is supported by OpenStack also. So container image allow much more portability, and if you see a difference between OpenStack and container, the image size is very, very large in a virtual machine, and compared to virtual machine, the container size is very, very less, and that is the one of the major reason it is very getting lots of traction among smaller companies or new companies, we can say born in cloud, that type of application. So if you see in this picture, like we can have infrastructure, and then we can have a host operating system, and then hypervisor, and then guest OS here, and then applications. But if you see other hand side, containers, you don't have to worry about hypervisor. You don't have to worry about guest operating system. So that is one of the reasons the image size is less compared to the virtual machine. Virtual machine side could be many gigs, but the container side could be just a few megs. And if you go back in one bare metal machine, you can have maybe, depend on size, 20-25 virtual machines, but you can have hundreds of containers in a bare metal. So now people are telling bare metals are back because of one of the reason, containers. So container operates in 3 different layers: system, application, and process. At the system layer, it's all about infrastructure. And at the application layer, I'm sure we are all familiar about the microservices. So that you can use microservices at the application layer. And then we have a process involved. So that now DevOps concept, that is getting lots of traction because of containers. So this is the overall impact that is in a container because of container in this process. So let's talk about what is happening in enterprise. As I mentioned earlier, like container is very, very hot topic. Each and every meeting, if you go now, you will hear container question. So each and every company I talk to, they are doing something with containers. But interestingly, I have not heard a single company that they are doing anything with container in a production environment. Most of the places, they are just using in test dev environment. they are playing in a lab, and they are using in a POC environment. They are planning to use container in maybe a year or so in a production environment. But I think still it's a very early, and as you see, like a maturity cycle for any technology is almost 5 years, and container is in very, very early stage. So they are doing something with container, but not really they are doing much in production. And most of the enterprise are using container in-house, so they are not using public cloud or anything. They have their own data center, and primarily they are using in a virtual environment. VMware is the first choice, and second is Xen. So preferred container orchestration tool for all enterprise is still Docker Swarm. In some places, they are also started using Kubernetes and app mesos. And Magnum support all three orchestration tool in a container as a service. So why they are not using? What are the reasons? What are their top concerns for not using container enterprise at this time? Like if you see, container is very, very popular within I will say startups, and enterprise eventually want to use all the technology that startup is using. But one of the major reason for container is not getting much traction because of the security. Containers don't have the same security isolation capabilities as virtual machine. If you recall my second slide, you see that there's a security layer is missing there. So that's one of the reasons. So I think what we have to do, we have to focus on more security to make this enterprise ready. Yesterday, during the keynote, Kyle mentioned that networking is behind in container, and I think we are doing lots of work in networking, and that will make container more enterprise friendly. There are not many people actually know about containers, so that's one of the major reasons that enterprise is not ready to use containers at this time. And they're also not sure if it makes sense for them to use container. They don't see any return of investment. I can understand that container seems cheaper because you can have in one bare metal, you can have at least 100 containers. But they don't have seen any use cases that it makes sense for them to use container. So I think it's very early for enterprise to make any final decision in containers. And toolset is not available, so it's an early start. And I think as we progress, we are going to have a more toolset available. So what is the most important for the enterprise in a container adoption? So number one thing I found is data management. That is a big challenge. So we have infrastructure ready, but they are not sure how database will work. So that is something, there is opportunity for us to explore further and see how we can fix that challenges. And high availability is one other thing that you have to see how we can make this better. So let's talk about Magnum. So Magnum is one of the projects that we have within the OpenStack umbrella. There are a couple of other projects, but Magnum is considered as a container as a service. So what it does actually, it making Kubernetes and Docker is a first-class citizen, so that you can use heat orchestration, and then you can use all those Kubernetes as well as Docker. So the way it does it, actually it uses a base. So base are collection of Nova instance that are created using heat templates. And Magnum leverage a networking Neutron project for all the networking. And with the last release on October 15th, now Magnum is ready for production. So you can go and download and play with Magnum as a service. So this is a architecture detail. We can talk, but I don't know if I have enough time. But you can see very high level here. We have a Nova, Neutron, Glance, and Cinder. And then we have an OpenStack Heat. So that is something what Magnum leverage when it's offered like a container as a service. So as I mentioned, there are a couple of other projects that OpenStack is a part of umbrella. One is Magnum, you already talked, Cola and Murano. So container is a very, very wide topic. So what Magnum is doing, it's focusing on container as a service, but there are Cola that is working on more like, I think how it's a dynamic container work. And Cola, Murano is primarily working with Kubernetes. So what HP is doing with container technology? Container is definitely very, very important for HP, and I'm sure you heard that HP made a big announcement yesterday. We launched Helion OpenStack 2.0. So Helion is a brand name portfolio that we are using. So under Helion, we have a two major offering: Helion Infrastructure as a Service, Helion OpenStack, and Helion Development Platform that is based on Cloud Foundry. And we are supporting both Docker. You can go and download it as a first-class citizens. You can learn more about what we are offering going to this website, and you can search in a Google Helion OpenStack HP. You'll get more information. And if you want to learn more, there are some other resources for you that you can learn about what is happening in container and what is happening with Magnum. So that's pretty much what I have to cover. I will be happy to answer any question you may have outside. And my email is here. I'll be happy to answer via email. Thank you very much. Have a great time here in Summit.